DBMS Important Questions Part 1. Question number 5. List the types of database languages in DBMS. Explain in detail. Or the question can be asked like, explain the commands in DDL, DML, DCL and TCL in DBMS. So if the question is about database languages, first what we need to explain what is the necessity of having database languages in DBMS. So the first point says DBMS provides necessary database languages which allows the users. So who are these users? The users are those which we have discussed in the previous question, different types of users, the data administrator, naive users, sophisticated users, or the data designer. So all these people come under different types of users. So what they do is they use these database languages to express the database updates. So in fact, I can say like they'll be using these languages to deal with the database by sending the request in the form of queries. So here we have different types of examples that we can take for database languages. So best example we can provide is SQL, that is structured query language. So which acts like a standard programming language for many databases. So this SQL comes into the category of one of the database languages that we are going to see now. So now let me segregate the database languages into 4 sub-languages. So they serve as different functions to execute the task. So what task? The task is nothing but the sending your request in the form of queries. So in short, I say like database language is used for writing the queries, modifying the data in the database, designing the schema, design of view, and dealing with the transactions in the database, etc. So you can also control the access to the database through the different languages you have in the database. So these languages, let's try to understand in detail. The 4 languages are DDL, DML, DCL and TCL. So DDL is nothing but data definition language, DML data manipulation language, DCL data control language, TCL transaction control language. Now let's try to know about data definition languages, that is DDL. So in short or in simple, I say that this DDL is very helpful in forming the base work of the database, or I can say the framework. Framework means something that you make a plan of your database at the initial stage before starting the database designer. So what is that plan I'm speaking about? So this plan is nothing but the design of schema. So anything that is related to the schema comes into the category of data definition language. So any operation that works on the schema, again you need to use DDL. So that's what this point says. DDL creates the framework of the database by specifying the database schema. So what is a schema? Is nothing but the structure that represents the organization of data. So the functionality of DDL mainly deals with the creation and alteration of the tables, files, indexes and columns within the database. And be very clear, we are not going to insert the values inside the tables or files or indexes. We are just making the base works, keeping the tables empty. Like I gave in the previous example, in your physical level, the database design data admin is going to make base work by design of the schema. So you can take the DDL is a language that is helpful in designing of the schema over here. You're not inserting any values using DDL. Next, like you can see here, this language also helps the users to rename or drop the existing database or its components. So if you want to vanish the database framework that you have created, you can even do that in the DDL. So in short, it is used to define the structure of the database. It is used to create the table, views, schema, sequence constraints, indexes, etc. So now keep in mind the table, views, schema, etc. that I am speaking about are called as data objects. So now let's move on to different types of commands that helps in performing all these operations at the schema level using DDL. So the different commands in DDL are, so here the different DDL commands are create, alter, drop, truncate, rename and comment. So this create command is used to create new database or object. So what is meant by an object? So object can be a table, it can be an index, or it can be a column like how I stated in the previous slide. The next one is the alter command. Alter command, as the name suggests, it is used to make changes in the structure of the database or the object again. So next is the drop. So drop is something which is used to remove the database or the existing object. So why I'm using the term remove and not using delete? So let me explain in the next DML language. So next one is the truncate. Truncate is used to remove all the records from the table. So if you have the some n number of records already existing in the table, so what you can do, you can directly go for the command truncate and remove all the records directly from the table. Next is rename. So rename is something which is used to assign name for the database or the existing object. So next one is the comment. So comment is used to give additional information about the data dictionary. So all the information regarding the schema, etc., can be done by using the command comment. So next language is DML, that is data manipulation language. So manipulation, so it means to say that you can make changes in the creator schema or you can make changes in the existing table using data manipulation language. So what changes I can exactly do? So it can be used to update and manipulate the data inside the table. It is used to access and modify the data from the database. It is also used to insert, modify, delete the query, that is to retrieve the data to and from the table. So very simple. If you want to make any operation inside the table, that is to the table or from the table, you have to go for data manipulation language and not DDL. So now there are two types of data manipulation language. First one is procedural type and second one is non-procedural type. So what is meant by procedural type? So in procedural type of DML, you may have to address two elements in the query. So what are those? What data you need and how to get the data. So these two are to be addressed in procedural DML in the query or while writing the query. Whereas non-procedural type of DML, there you need to state or address only what data is needed in the query. So you just write a query for what data is needed. So it's very clear, non-procedural DML is much easier, or I can say it makes your work easier compared to the procedural DML. So in short, it is used for accessing and manipulating the data in the database. So it handles users' requests. So what are the commands of DML? Select, insert, update, delete, merge, call, explain plan, lock, table. So what is meant by a select command? So select command is used to retrieve the data from the database. Insert command, which is used to insert the data into the table. So once you get into the concept of DML, your thorough operations will happen inside the table. So we need to be very clear with this point. So the operations happen inside the table. So if you are using select command, the selection operation works inside the table. If you are using insert command, so it is used to insert the record or the data inside the table. The same way update. So name itself says it can be used to change or update the existing data inside a table. Delete. So delete is very similar to the drop command what you have seen in the DDL. So if you use drop, it's going to work over the data object. Whereas if you use delete command, it is going to work on the records from the tables. So you can select the desired row or a record in the table and then go for delete. So it will remove the existing record from the table. Next is merge command. Merge command is used for the upsert operation. So what is this upsert? Upsert is nothing but for updation as well as insertion operation. So merge can directly work on both the operations, that is insertion or updation operation. Next one is call. So call is used to call a structured query language or a Java subprogram. So like we can say call is something which is used for linking up your database with the application program that is designed. Next one is explain plan. So it has the parameter of like it's a parameter of explaining the data. So something like comment. So next one is lock table. So lock table controls concurrency. So let me explain what is meant by concurrency in short. So concurrency is nothing but the way of handling multiple queries or multiple commands given to the database at a time. So it has a priority based execution of the commands given by the multi users. So more than one user if they are giving or accessing the data over the table at a period of time. So we have something called as locking protocol through which we'll be actually interleaving the commands, so which has to be executed first and which has to be executed next. For this we have something called as lock table command, so that we can lock a particular table and make operation over that and then unlock it. Next is DCL, data control language. So it's very clear, it says data control language. That means it mainly deals with accessing or giving access or permission to the data or pulling out the permission which was given. So we have mainly two commands for DCL, that is grant and revoke. So as I already said, giving access. So you can give access or privileges to get into the database by using a grant command. Going on leave, so I might give this privilege of accessing the data to some other person by giving a grant command, by using grant command. So once I come back, I might be using this revoke. I'll be using the command revoke to get back the permission from the user to whom I've given access or authorization. So next one is transaction control language, that is TCL. So TCL mainly deals with two commands, commit and rollback. We know that the database is dynamic in nature and changes do happen. And those changes, whether they should be permanent or not, that I'll be deciding in transaction control language using these two commands. So commit is used to save the changes permanently, whereas the rollback is used for the last commit statement. So if any changes made in the commit statement are not okay, so you can go for the rollback, which works for the last commit statement and make changes and again use commit to make the changes saved permanently. Hope the concept is clear. Thank you very much.